This graphic novel contains scenes of murder and mayhem and is not for the faint-hearted.
If you are upset by intense scenes of violence and viscera,
needles and nastiness,
consider steering clear of this story.
But if you're prepared to be scared and to delve into the depths of the horrors the human mind can produce,
then step right up and enjoy the perilous pages of Machines Made from Minds.
Chapter 4, Cathedral of Machines. You're all traveling west on the Red Line. You're on a small, what's called an inspection cart. You might know this terminology or not. It's more identifiable as a shorter subway car. It's lacking side panels and has 8 or so seats. There's the 4 of you sitting upon it. Connie, you're fine, questioning the plant care that's been promised. Peggy, do you have anything going through your mind right now?
I think Peggy is wondering what the fuck she just got herself into, because this is a lot bigger than she was expecting.
Yeah. How specifically did Peggy come to be recruited for this job?
I think, they sent out, like, letters and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think she probably, was going through one of her various mailboxes and it kind of came as, an open call. So she probably wasn't specifically sought out, but it mentioned the pay and it mentioned, she could use those skill sets, and she was like, all right, I can use this money.
Okay. Wonderful. So you're just wondering, why am I here on a cart with 2 strangers after a large metal coffin just tried to kill these 2 people?
I would say
Maybe,
that's
who
essentially
knows?
accurate.
Okay, wonderful. Also, dealing with the traumatic loss of a beautiful wrench, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, I did just steal it, but it still hurts, you know?
The smell of ammonia, I think, is also very much stuck in your nose still from when that cracked the window and you could just smell the rotted corpse sitting in one of those coffins. But that's neither here nor there. Arthur, you're sitting here, a needle stuck into the heel of your foot as well as into your calf, throbbing painfully, a very sharp pain you feel. Is there anything else going through your head?
the pain is too much. I don't think I can really focus on anything else.
Yes. And finally, Darcy, you've fastened your headscarf around your back and tied it tightly, just around the top of your torso, just to stop any bleeding for right now until you can get some more proper medical aid. Is that about sum up how everyone's doing right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're all sitting on this cart in silence unless you wanted to continue asking Clarice any questions or speak to her at all. And you would probably hear a mechanical shrieking coming from the east, and probably the shriek of a person, a sudden and short yell, but that's quick and far away, easy to push out of mind.
I think they might be dead.
Maybe.
It's not that easy to push out of mind, I would say, no.
Can you at least explain what the clear liquids are? I know that they will explain it there later at the cathedral, but we've just been encountering a lot of these clear liquids, and I'm generally curious.
The clear liquid. It's... How familiar are you with the workings of brains and such? Or your nervous system? If I say nervous system, do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm pretty nervous right now.
Would I have knowledge of that?
Is this what I think it is?
What's your education?
Actually, no. Well, a hobby of mine is medicine because of how plants interact with humans.
Okay.
So I think that I may know about this. I studied plants and...
What's your education? Like, what's your education stat?
Let me check. 50.
And what's your medicine stat?
20.
If you want to know about nervous systems, you're going to have to check. That's not high enough to just passively know very much, given the state of the current world that's developing.
So you want me to check?
In 20 years, I think that would be common knowledge. Right now, not so much.
Check medicine?
Check medicine.
Oof, no.
Okay. So Peggy just makes a joke. No one laughs at it, really. And Clarice will kind of look at you with squinted eyes, Peggy, after you make the joke. And she'll say, like your spine and such, or your brain. There's fluid in it, cerebrospinal fluid.
Okay. Is that the stuff that we...
That's what it is.
And
So-
it's getting injected into people?
Why? Why do they
no,
want it?
no, it's not getting injected into anyone. It's being taken out.
But why?
Well, I could try to explain it to you if you want me to right now, but I would suggest that Master Ames might be able to do a better job than me.
Who?
Master Ames. Dr. Preston.
Would we know these names? Like, are these
No.
familiar people to us?
Is there like a social ability score?
I don't think so.
No.
There's charm, which I don't feel like quite does it.
I don't think so. Maybe credit score?
Maybe credit
Or
score.
credit rating? I mean, I don't know. It's like the only sociable other thing other than maybe charm on here.
Maybe. Would you be okay with rolling a
Credit rating.
credit rating check? Check, Peggy.
How rich are you? Do you know these people?
To know about that?
I can roll, like...
Yeah. All of you can roll credit rating if you want to try to see if you know this person.
Is a 40. Yeah, that's a fail.
Okay.
I definitely do. Like a strong yes.
Oh, strong yes.
Like an extreme
Oh, extreme?
success.
Connie's extreme. Connie does
Because my
stick
credit
grind
rating
on
is
some
40
rails.
and I got 5.
Okay. And then the rest of you, did you fail or succeed?
Are we also rolling?
You can roll if you want to. You don't have to, seeing as Connie's gotten the
I'm
extreme
not.
already. So Connie could probably just relay if he knows. Connie,
I don't
you
have a
would
credit score.
Connie, you would know Dr. Preston as a researcher at Frederick Central Hospital here in Aros, in the capital. They would be notable on your horizon for recently having, or not recently, when you were younger, probably 10 years ago or so, putting out a paper on the uses of certain wild plants in the reduction of pain. It was a very controversial paper, but you would recognize Dr. Ames Preston from that.
Oh, Dr. Preston, the one who wrote a paper about those plants in order to reduce pain. Am I right?
Probably, yeah. I'm not very keen on reading up on medical literature. I just know him as Master Ames. But I would recommend you wait for him to explain it to you. He's very convincing.
Somehow I doubt that.
Okay. That sounds very
If you wanted this person to try to explain it to you, you could roll charm or persuade, Peggy, because you were the one that she had been talking to initially, and you had asked her questions, like, "Oh, what's going on here?" You can attempt to charm or persuade her if you would like to do so. If you would like to get a little bit of truth or story.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, but you kind of brought us onto this train. I don't really know you. Some things just try to kill us. It's all extremely weird. I personally am a proponent for someone's rights to remain silent, but I would really appreciate some information here.
All right, make a
Damn.
persuade check.
Okay.
I appreciate someone's rights to remain silent, says
15.
Peggy the Crook. 15?
Good, like a medium success.
Okay, regular success.
No,
Excellent.
no, it's not a regular. It's like
Oh.
a medium. It's more than a fifth, but less than half.
That's hard.
That's a hard
Hard.
success.
Oh.
Because there's regular, hard, and extreme. So
Yeah.
this is like
Yes.
the medium.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a hard success.
Yes.
Okay. To metagame, or not metagame for a second, but me asking you, the player, what one piece of information would you want from this? What are you most interested in?
To what degree are you involved with whatever's going on here? Like, what's your relationship to the crime?
The crime.
The crime of stabbing people with needles. Yes.
Look, the most I could tell you is I'm Master Ames' assistant, and I know that he could do a better job of explaining all this to you for in a way that it would be very convincing. Isn't that right, Ron? And the person driving this car will say, "Yeah, that's right. It's very convincing."
I like Ron.
And Clarice will continue and say, the chrysalis, they are just, those were willing experiments and everything. I don't want you thinking going into this with a bad perspective on Master Ames or anything. But everyone's here because we want to be here, and I did organize to get those plants stolen from the Happy Petals florist, but I never intended for people to get pulled into it or anything.
Okay. Shit. Well.
And you're sitting like right in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
I think she'll reach out and touch your knee very softly when she says this stuff.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll listen to your explanation, but don't try to kill us with needles, please. I'm, not really in a mood to jump out of another window today or something.
That's why. So an alarm got tripped when the four of yous went in there. That's why we got sent out to come get you and make sure no one died. We're not in the business of killing folks that don't volunteer for it.
That don't volunteer.
So folks do volunteer to be killed?
The people in that room volunteered for it, yeah, for the experiments. I'm getting ahead. Like it's Master Aim's experiment. I'm only helping out. I think her hand is still on your leg, Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll give your not just your knee, but further up your leg, your thigh a squeeze and say, I think that you should just let Master Ames tell you about it when we get there, and give you a nice, charming smile.
How much longer? I'm not really comfortable with being in machines.
And when you ask that question, Connie, you hear the small whistle go off on this inspection cart, and you see a bit of light coming from the west end of the tunnel, and you enter very quickly into or not quickly, you slow down a little bit. You're not coming in with speed, but you enter into a very open and new-looking terminal. It's rectangular, long, the same way you would imagine a typical train platform, except on the north side, which is your right side, I guess, the same side where the maintenance tunnel was on. There's a small plaza that seems to have what looks like where stores would go to have a little shopping center inside of the terminal. There's a curved glass ceiling that goes over the top, and you can see out the early morning-ish sky. It's probably around 8:30 to 9 o'clock in the morning at this point. I think that lines up fairly well. It was a moderate trip to get here, I think. And it's almost like a hive in here, to describe it. And you see people wearing these coveralls, just going about a regular day's work on what appears to be a vertical train engine. It's kind of stationed or positioned at the end of the rail here, and it's just sat up on its back, pointed at the ceiling. And it seems to be, Peggy, the one that you were looking at the blueprints for, and the front of it seems to be opened up. Almost, it looks like, or it evokes the image of a set of jaws, I think.
Oh, shit.
And there's just these chains and ropes attaching it to the walls, as well as the upper mezzanine, to which there are stairs on either side of the platform going up there. I think a lot of people kind of stop in their tracks when they see the four of you and are just watching and waiting. There almost seems to be a very anxious or tense energy about the room. I would put the count of people in here that you can see at just over 20.
Ooh, that's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. And walking down the stairs, you can see a very pale man. He has sharp, pointed ears, these sunken in eyes as if he's not slept very well in a long time, with these dark bags underneath them. He has a completely shaved head and what look like those small ports that a needle would go into. They look to be all over his scalp.
Ooh.
As well as going down his neck. And beyond that, he's wearing these very baggy, formal clothes that seem to be covered in grease and grime. And he will reach the bottom of the stairs. He walks very slowly. He's a very old-looking man. The equivalent of someone looking to be in their 90s, I would say, if they were human, but he's an elf, so there's no telling how old he really is. And when he reaches the bottom step and you hear his feet or his footsteps echo across the entirety of the terminal, just dead silence in here. and he will reach about halfway between where the stairs are and where you are all sitting on the train car, and he will say, "On behalf of all of us here, I humbly welcome you to the Cathedral of the Machines."
Hey.
And Clarice will say, "Master Ames, there's 2 of them that are wounded," and he'll nod gently and slowly and address the driver of the cart and say, "Ron, could you help the one that can't walk up the stairs? I'll see to them in a second." And Ron, this short-ish driver, Arthur, will get out of his seat and come over to you and offer to help you walk.
Okay.
Will you accept it?
I will accept, but
Okay.
I am kind of like crazed, mumbling like, "This is all a dream. This is all a dream. This is all a dream."
I think he would hear this and say, "Oh, you wish, pal." And like chuckle to himself. Darcy, I think you can stand well by yourself. You can really feel the pain it's setting in now, and you can follow Ron and Arthur back up the stairs.
I'm not following them.
No? Are you just going to sit here and stay here?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Bye-bye, Arthur.
Bye, Arthur.
Later,
See you
bro.
never.
I think, unless you would have stopped her, Peggy, Clarice has had her hand on your like thigh this entire time.
That's
Okay.
weird.
It's very
That
weird.
is
She's
weird.
weird.
Harassment.
Like, what's her deal? I feel like she's some kind of like, okay, you know how in the Percy Jackson books, Aphrodite's like supposed to be beautiful to everyone who looks at her, so she has a different appearance and her whole thing. Like, I feel like there's some spooky magic going on there.
Interesting. When you arrive here, I think even before you got into the Cathedral of Machines, or the, as you would all know it based on your knowledge of the subway, the West Quinn Formation terminal, but for current company, Cathedral of Machines, I think that before you get in here, she would very quickly pull her hand off of your leg. And when Ron and Arthur exit the cart, she would walk over to this old elf and kind of kneel down and kiss him on the hand.
Weird.
And I think that you can see that he has these ports embedded in his hand as well. Just these little steel entrances for needles. And then she'll very quickly follow behind you, Arthur, up the stairs, almost like helping you on your other side and like tenderly feeling your back as well. Arthur, what's your favorite smell in the world?
Shit, I didn't write this one down. I don't know. Like,
No.
I guess maybe the favorite smell, probably weird. Like, you know the smell of gasoline,
Oh, absolutely. I know the smell of gasoline.
because he's pretty much been around machines for like a lot of his
Yeah,
life.
he's
so
a
it's like
gearhead.
it's a familiar smell. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this
I
is
think
all right.
that when she approaches you and like tenderly puts her hand on your back, not supporting you on the back, almost like running her hand ticklingly along your back, you just get this large whiff of gasoline from her.
That's really weird. What
And
kind
she-
of
and
perfume
Ron
line
will-
does she use?
She and Ron will help you up the stairs. Ames will walk over to the cart itself and kind of put his hand on one of the chairs and say, "Are the 3 of you all right? How might I be of service to the 3 of you?"
Are we supposed to be praying? Because you say that there's the Cathedral of Machines, and I've heard that people pray in cathedrals.
You needn't pray if you don't feel comfortable or convinced.
All right, but what are you trying to convince
He
us of
said
here?
threateningly.
Cracks his knuckles, breaks a hand.
What am I trying to convince you of,
Yeah.
young woman? What's your name?
Mary.
Mary. He will sit down in the chair that Clarice was sitting in before, and he'll just look you dead in the eyes, Mary, and he will say, "I am trying to convince you that you are frail, and that I am frail, and that powers promised to us would make us stronger." Does that sound interesting at all?
No.
I mean, it sounds nice, but I've made a lot of sales pitches in my life, and you haven't actually pitched a product. I want to hear what you're really selling.
He will smile at that, Mary, and say, "Will you get off the cart first? You and your friends.
I look at them.
I would just like to clarify that we're not friends.
That's true. I met these guys like 3 hours ago.
And he'll look over at the two of you, Darcy and Connie, and will say, would you like to get off the cart and hear my sales pitch then? I can treat your wounds as well. No charge. I'm afraid either way you won't be able to leave until John or Dawn have dealt with the chrysalis out there. So you might as well get comfortable. Let me tend to your wounds so that you don't begin hallucinating or anything.
Is that what was inside the chrysalis?
Yes and no. It's difficult to explain. If you'd only come upstairs, I could tell you the whole tale.
I'm going to look to Peggy and Connie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say any, like, Darcy's, personality has taken, like, a 180 turn, and she's, like...
Yeah.
She just looks at them and kind of waits to see what they're gonna do.
Okay. Connie, Peggy.
All right, fine.
Wonderful. Connie, Ames will stand up and begin to walk off the cart. I presume, Peggy, since you agreed you would do so as well.
Yes.
Connie, are you going to follow suit? Or do you have anything else to say?
Nothing. I will just follow.
Okay. And so I assume, Darcy, you reluctantly follow as well?
I'm gonna get off the cart. I'm gonna catch up to Connie, and I'm gonna lean over, and I'm gonna say, of the four of us, you're the person I know the most about. Whatever her name is, has been lying about who she is, and Arthur's in medical care. So Darcy's gonna hold out her hand to Connie, like as like a, not like to hold hands, but to be like an introductory like handout for the other person to take.
Okay.
And she's
Yeah.
going to say, from here on out, I would like us to be partners in this.
And I'm going to offer... How big are my hands? Because I sort of
They're
see myself as a
large.
giant.
They're very large.
Okay. I'll just give Darcy enough of my fingers that will fit her hand. As
Y'all are really bring the cute.
She's gonna
You bring the cubes.
Well, that it has to. It makes the horrific more horrific.
she's going to shake the fingers provided to her, and she's going to then pop open her side, her like investigation bag, pull out a tin of water, pull out a thing of pills, pop one in her mouth, and then down some water, and then close it off and say, well, then here we go.
All right. And you walk up the stairs with Master Ames. And that's where this part will end, I think.
Shit. We're getting close to the end here, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm very worried.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I hope that you all tune in tomorrow. And I hope that this was the least upsetting episode so far.